Howdy folks, and welcome back to my journey through Ramp 2025. I'm fighting my way through every map region by region and giving a review of each map as I go. This video will jump into our time machine and head to the Ramp future. This section holds 17 laser blasting, space station invading, mothership beaming maps to discover. I don't rate these by quality because Ramp is a project meant to be inclusive of newcomers and mapping veterans alike. Rather, I'll give each map a difficulty rating and a style, which is just an indication of what kind of experience each map offers, whether that be classic vanilla, slaughter, or something more bespoke and experimental. These scores are of course my interpretation and I'm no authority on the matter. Let's lock in early with a beast of a map, Damonensturm by Sidestepper. This map is marketed as a slaughter map, and at first you might be forgiven for thinking this doesn't hit the slaughter map mark, as you're set up against a not insignificant but not slaughter-worthy amount of former humans. But that 4-digit monster count looms over you as you're transported to rougher and rougher rings, being armed as you progress, but also being challenged. This culminates with facing off against a duo of cyber demons and a bunch of pinkies which start making you sweat as they threaten to pincer you. However, you can take advantage of the room's geometry to avoid the worst of the rockets. After this, the central circle opens up and the kids' gloves come off. This is where Sidestepper earns their slaughter status, as you're placed squarely in the middle of a face-off against barons and revenants. This is the toughest part of the map, but keep your cool and navigate the outer ring of the circle, while thinning the herd where necessary with your BFG, and the ring will further expand, throwing more threats your way, but mercifully giving you more square footage to manoeuvre. Things ease off here and you'll soon be on the final run to the exit, which includes a run-in with archviles with no cover. If you're not UV maxing this thing, you can just make a mad dive for the exit, however, putting Damonensturm to your back. This one gets a difficulty of 9 out of 10. It hurts, but it's surmountable with plenty of quick saves. I believe this map uses some UDMF elements to change the arena. After that beat up, it's time to visit the infirmary with Infernospital by Hyacsho. This map is downright quiet after the chaos of the first level and starts us off with some sinister backing music and what appears to be a mysterious abandoned hospital. There's a small puzzle and traps element at the start as you learn how to progress through new rooms, and soon the geometry of the map seems to get a little turned on its head as we revisit more and more corrupted versions of the first set of rooms. This is where all the threats begin to appear as Hell's minions break through the very walls to end your life. Eventually the hospital facade falls away entirely as we're sent out to contend with a rather irate cyber demon and several other nasties. Luckily the cleanup crew missed the rocket launcher hiding behind one of the rocks and we're able to arm ourselves for the task at hand. I ended up missing a secret in this and also missed several enemies which I have to assume were locked behind some hidden door somewhere, but we can nonetheless make our escape from this hellish hospital. This map sat at a 4 difficulty for me. Some elements were a little bit dicey, but nothing doomed I couldn't handle. This map used UDMF elements like line portals to expand the geometry of the hospital. The third contender in the futuristic arena is Lab Pool by Ensign Games. This charming little map sets the scene with some environmental storytelling by having us break out of some kind of stasis chamber or test tube. As we get our bearings, we can see that this facility has been invaded by demons, and we need to get busy clearing them out and escaping. There's a fun secret room behind one of the fume hoods, which holds some nice Doom cute and maybe a reference to the author's own room. But we can't linger, so we head back out to the lab to clear out the rest of the facility. Some lower tier monsters and a couple of cacodemons are all that stand in your way. However, you'll have to battle with them while jumping atop broken metal shards from a massive central silo. It looks like the demons have really wreaked havoc here. After avoiding the monster projectiles and staying well out of the lava, we were able to make our escape through a corridor on the far side of the map. This map wasn't too challenging, sitting at about a 2 out of 10 for difficulty, and relied on jumping for progression, so we'll categorise it under custom. Next is CBM's A Zany Space Mission by CBM. As soon as this map opens, you know you're in for a wild ride, as we're given an introductory cutscene featuring some very out-there custom 3D modelled actors. You're briefed on your mission to retrieve some missing bioweapons and equipment from some nasty bio-toads. Once you have control of your character, you're immediately presented with a giant proboscis Get used to seeing this because all the weapons are tube-like extensions protruding from your body. We beam ourselves down to the battlefield where the full extent of CBM's genius reveals itself. As all weapons and pickups have been rebuilt with fully functional 3D models, this is something I wasn't even aware GZ Doom could do until about a month ago, and it boggles my mind to think about how much work must have gone into this. The map sends you out into 6 different areas filled with brightly coloured and outright bizarre monsters, and the near constant sounds of springs, which was really overwhelming to the senses. After a while I came to understand which monster replaced which Doom original, and got a lay of the land, and I was able to progress through without too much drama, helped in no small part by the extremely powerful rapid railgun and rocket launcher weapon variants. Once all 6 keys are collected, you are free to escape the Biotoads. I can see why the CBM called this Zany. Difficulty was a 3 out of 10, and this was certainly a bespoke experience. Next on the roster is Galactic Showdown Aerial Arena by WRSW, aka Untitled. I learned right off the bat that you don't want to fall off the edge of this map. Galactic Showdown takes full advantage of the jump feature by lowering the gravity and introduces you to the concept nice and early by placing the initial weapons and equipment you'll need on 4 tall pillars. Soon you'll be leaping through the sky as the arena opens up with more and more floating platforms, and the author starts throwing waves of monsters to try and pull you down to the ground. I have to say it didn't take me long to get used to the jumping, and I found it really handy to get the rockets right in the middle of the large cluster. The map really gets chaotic in the end quarter as the final solar panels and satellite is revealed, and a horde of floating beasties takes to the skies. The pain elementals really got out of hand for me in the end, and I only ended up rounding out the kill count on this map out of pure spite for the lost souls. Otherwise I would have left sooner. Difficulty was a 6 out of 10 for this one, and it had some UDMF elements like custom gravity. Painville 98's map, Corrupted City Power Facility, starts you off in a kind of staging area where you can learn about the new custom elements to the map, such as the fact that transparent arc trials now deal damage when you kill them, or the red cyber demons open up new areas when killed. Then you're sent straight to the chaos as you leap through the teleporter and are immediately screamed at by 3 cyber demons. Luckily, once you get a lay of the land, you soon manage to find a super shotgun buried inside a pile of imps, which allows you to start clearing out the rest of the map slowly and methodically. Once the roaming threats are wiped out of the initial area, you have to kill a cyber demon to open up a new zone. There are 3 areas in total, each opened by killing a different cyber demon, and all 3 have to be explored to open up the exit area. I feel like I chose the exact wrong order to open these doors by killing the stair-dwelling cyber demon. This unleashed some nasty beasts and didn't give me any new weapons. The cacodemons and pain elementals on this map gave me the hardest time because when they die, they cause an earthquake, damaging you regardless of distance. You can jump to avoid the worst of the damage, but bringing them down was rough. I persevered and made it through to the end eventually though. Difficulty for me was an 8 on this map. I really struggled with some areas, although it would have been smoother if I'd opened up the plasma rifle room first. This map had custom elements to it, like custom monsters. Hostile Process by Nave is next. This one felt like a bit of an odd one out, because even though it did have some techie walls in the central area, most of the branching areas felt like they'd be more at home in the Hell Crater area. It also had some tech-based elements to it as well, so I guess that there wasn't a clean category that Nave could have put this map into. To progress through this map, you must navigate to 3 branching areas, defeat the threats within, and then hit a switch, which, when returning to the middle area, summons in a key-carrying Guardian. Once all 3 keys were earned, you're sent topside to contend with the final Guardians of the map, a Cyber Demon and a Spider Mastermind. This battle had some interesting elements to it, as after you've dropped one boss to a certain threshold, it would teleport away and you'd face off against the other one before finishing them both off at once. This map was a fun little adventure, even though I did end up fairly low on ammo at a couple of points. Difficulty is a 4 out of 10. This map had custom scripting in it to handle things like provisioning keycards or managing the boss fight mechanics. The next map is a quick one but a fun one by Mildly Nuclear. 1000-yard stare of a March Hare. As soon as you pick up the shotgun at the entrance, you're given some succinct instructions and are driven by the beeping of an ever-dropping time counter. Every monster you kill gives you bonus time on this counter, and if you drop to 0, you're toast, so you're forced to always push forward and eliminate threats, while also trying not to die the traditional way. The map isn't overly long, but just when you think you're finished, you have one final thing to contend with. A favourite adapted from Doom Eternal, Come to End the Slayer. Remember the fight mechanics, stay mid-distance and shoot when you see the eyes flash, and you'll manage to overcome this final threat before being given your freedom. This mechanic was really fun, and it would be really interesting to see this done with a larger map, maybe with multiple branching paths, or even as a mini event appearing once or twice in an overarching mega WOD. Difficulty was 5 out of 10 for me. This map had custom elements built into it. Next, we're sent through time and space to the Hooniverse, where we're given the role of a Gallifreyan equivalent of a valet, parking the President's TARDIS and making a right mess of it as we gain the attention of some Cybermen. This map is Chancellery Guard Duty by Makros the Black. A quick run through the TARDIS is advised, as you'll find some very nice goodies in there before you head out to the 3 versions of the outside map, the past, present and future. I'd advise you to not go in the order I did of past, then present, then future, because it turned out to be the exact opposite order of what was required to progress. Makros has taken the time to include some wonderful Cybermen monsters from the map, as well as some custom sound effects including the iconic TARDIS sound. As a casual Doctor Who fan who's only familiar with the Revived series, I'm sure some of the references went right over my head, but I still very much enjoyed the time taken with the details of this map. After hunting down and destroying 3 prominent Cybermen, we're able to leave the temporal anomaly by smashing a button back in the TARDIS, and we're done. Difficulty was a 3 out of 10 for me. The Cybermen were quite squishy, and this had some custom elements to it. Next, we're sent to a frozen world with ScottieTheFox's Something Evil is Happening. This map's environment really appealed to me for some reason. The mix of snowy environments with a metallic, lava-filled bunker was a nice contrast, and the map flowed nicely from one area to the next. I got the impression, playing through this, that ScottieTheFox is a newcomer to the mapping world and was playing around with the different things Ultimate Doom Builder can do. There was nice use of dynamic lighting and 3D floors, and each area made good use of vertical space and height differences to add more to each region. The map did end a little abruptly, and I also ended up leaving several monsters unkilled, so I'm not entirely sure where they ended up, but nonetheless an enjoyable experience overall. Difficulty was a fairly calm 3 out of 10, and this map made use of some UDMF specific elements. Coming in next is an incredibly charming entry called Morph Yard by Azul. This map is very small, yet still managed to leave such a good impression. I was really blown away by the art style and direction Azul chose for this. The custom neon-lit bricks and 8-bit style weapon immediately blew me away, and when the map's sole enemy dropped down and began attacking, I was entranced. The soundtrack and custom weapon sound effects gave me immediate flashbacks to everything I loved about my childhood. It gave me Commander Keen and Mega Man and classic undefined Nintendo and Sega game vibes. Honestly, the only thing that I can say about this is that I'm sad there wasn't more for me to play. I would absolutely love to see a total conversion made with this style and this look and feel, because it absolutely made my day playing it. The boss monster was a 3 out of 10 difficulty. Once I learned the moves, I was okay. This was a bespoke experience and I want more. Next up is Doom 2 Demons Worked in IT and Mass Layoff Happened by Timoleo80. This map took all the standard Doom 2 monsters and juiced them up with some super soldier serum or something, because every monster variant in this map was absolutely lethal. The map itself was really nicely laid out with great use of OTEX textures and a solid key hunting progression. This map had monster closets and traps aplenty, and the author did not hold back on letting you experience exactly what the new lineup has to offer. After we push through the first interior section, we're led outside to a rocky space arena where we meet our first Cyberdemon variant, as well as a menagerie of Mancubus and Arachnotron alternatives, which just light up the sky in energy blasts and fireballs. All you can do is take cover and wait for the barrage to stop before poking your head out and sending a few retaliatory rockets or plasma shots their way. There were some monster highlights for me in this map. The Spectre variant was super deadly and launched periodic energy blasts, as well as more projectiles when killed. And the Revenants were a poisonous variant which left choking gas clouds in their missiles' wake and Pain Elemental's big brother is able to resurrect monsters and send a barrage of seeking lost soul projectiles after you. Eventually, you're set up against a BFG-enhanced spider mastermind before one final push and you can make your way to the exit. This map was fairly punishing and I'd give it a 7 out of 10 difficulty. I think with more practice against the new monsters, they'd become more manageable. This map had custom elements to it. We're on a narrative-driven WOD with Baroness Rescue Part 2 by Uncreative Output next. Apparently, the first installment of this was in a previous ramp delivery, but I don't think knowing the plot would have prepared me for the insanity of this map. You're given some mission objectives from the get-go by a very dapper imp, and are sent out to reach the Baroness at Gate 5. After passing through the security check gate, you soon come to realise the type of experience you're about to have when you pass by the not-haunted toilet and have to face off against these things. You then progress through this space station, where it suddenly gets breached by an onslaught of projectile demons, barrels, and rockets. It's at this time the game pauses for a commercial break, but not to worry, you're soon back on track and continue along the corridor until you're put up against a duo of cyber demons. Luckily, some infernal aid comes to help you out just in time. The main storyline wraps up about here, but then we're given a playable preview of the next episode, where we're able to arm ourselves with a cup of coffee before smashing it into a Nazi's head. I have no idea what fever dream of a map I just played, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. 3 out of 10 difficulty, this was a custom experience. Next up we have Deja Vu by Sergeant Shivers. This map starts out as a fun little space-based encounter with a fairly standard switch and key hunt. The map progresses nicely with difficulty and weapon provisioning, throwing mainly mid-tier monsters at you but giving you the weapons to handle them nicely. You push through one final mini area with teleporting in Mancubi, Revenants and other assorted beasts before being able to access the exit room. And that's almost where I left it, writing it up as a fun but standard tech base, except for a couple things that were bothering me. The monster kill count was low, I'd only found one secret, and the exit sign has a question mark against it. I felt like there was more to this map had to offer, and let me tell you, I'm glad I stuck around because after finding a very sneaky switch, I went through a revealed corridor and the vibe of this map changed immediately. I returned to the entrance of the same map, but the music was gone, the monsters were nowhere to be seen, and things were a little bit off. When I got the HUD message that player had entered the game, and then this new player started messaging me, things started feeling very unsettling. I would recommend playing this one yourself to experience it firsthand because it was truly a fascinating liminal experience. So I'll leave it at that. Difficulty 5 out of 10, and this is a custom experience. On our final stretch of futuristic maps now, we have Mothership Disconnection by NovaPlusPlus. This one was marked as a draft, but I found this to be a delightfully fun, light-hearted and humour-filled map with some really interesting elements. We start out by talking to a dog named Charlie, of course, who will guide us on our mission as we're sent off to unplug an alien spaceship from its power source. We start off navigating this odd rocky canyon with a base built in, and after activating a switch which sets off some piston-like platforms, we can ride to navigate out through the initial area. This section has some really cool trap mechanics with these evil eyes which suck you in towards themselves, and we first come across these creepy four-armed meaty aliens which throw cleavers at you. We next travel through to find a beautiful flying saucer which is literally plugged into an outlet on the ground. Of course our mission is to disconnect this, and it takes us aboard the mothership itself to hunt down the blue key. We encounter some little green men, which reminded me a little bit of the severed hand monsters from Blood. And finally we're beamed back down and have a couple of cyber demons to take out as our final battle. This was not too challenging, but it was a bit time consuming as I was short on ammo by this time. Unplug the ship and we're done. This map was a 5 out of 10 for difficulty and was another custom map from the Futuristic zone. Next up is Inconel by Creamsicle. This map started off with a more traditional kind of experience. Creamsicle makes great use of the metallic and techie OTEX textures to create this brutal feeling industrial space base. They make use of stealth demons to catch you by surprise in this map, which was an interesting substitute for the more standard spectres. And their traps and monster closets are nicely placed and catch you off guard. In particular, the trap cutting you off from the red keycard is very well timed. The final area has one final surprise by way of drop-down floor, sending a couple of barons and some lower tier minions at you in a confined space, which makes using the rocket launcher very dicey. And then we can break into the final room to hit the switch for freedom. Good use of traps in this map bumped the difficulty of it up to a 5 for me, and the use of stealth monsters marks this as a UDMF style map. The final map on our roster today is Operation Azure Fleece by Crazed Cleric. The scene is immediately set with the rumbling of engines and the buzzing of a computer alert, and we're treated to a wonderful display of custom voice acting as our general briefs us on our mission to find a prototype energy weapon and keep it out of enemy hands. We're quickly thrust into combat as we exit into a wonderfully designed space docking station, which gave me heavy Dark Forces vibes. And then we have custom flying zombies in the Duke Nukem Pig Cop personal ships to contend with. The map has a couple of new enemy variants, most of which can be handled well with a few shotgun pellets. And we soon find ourselves hunting for keys to get access to the holding bay where this weapon is kept. When we finally get our hands on the weapon, we immediately recognise it as the shock rifle from Unreal, which is great because it even functions the same way, where if you can shoot your secondary fire energy ball with your primary fire rail attack, it causes a large damaging explosion. We're given some updated mission objectives from the general after this, and it's revealed we must sacrifice ourselves and blow the place. After one final encounter which pits us against a flying spider demon boss, we manage to complete the ship. We managed to complete the objective and destroy the ship as well as ourselves. Difficulty was a 6 out of 10 for this map. I appreciated the new monsters and weapons in this, which makes it custom style. And that's the end of our trip to the future. Not a single full vanilla map in this bunch, which is fine by me, because I love all the custom shenanigans that creators come up with. As I mentioned at the start, this is a project that brings together newcomers and mapping elites alike, so it's disingenuous to rate them against each other. Likewise, I won't give a favourite map. All I can do is encourage you to download Ramp and try these out for yourselves. Enjoy someone's little slice of art in this massive project. Until next time, thanks for watching.